Do good, Maverick here. Welcome to podcast episode number 172. Cold emailing can be life-changing. When it comes to outreach, especially when it comes to lead generation, getting leads that can become customers or clients for your product or service. Cold emailing, it's probably one of the oldest forms of outreach on the internet. But yet it's gotten a pretty dirty reputation because a lot of people are using it to outright spam and annoy people. But even if there are a lot of people using it in a bad way, that doesn't mean that you have to use it in the exact same bad way. Isolation can be a dream killer. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to move to a city and stand in the center of a massive crowd like that's going to help. I'm talking about isolation from the right people, from the right prospects, from the right people, customers or clients or mentors or whatever. Now, cold emailing, of course, it can be used for a lot more than just trying to find customers or clients. You can also use it to try to find, for example, a mentor or people to interview. That's actually one of the ways that I'm using cold email at the moment. I'm reaching out to people that I want to interview for a book, course, and community for Terrific 30, my online education and community platform that I'm building. But yeah, cold emailing, I guess I should explain a bit more. Just to be clear, I'm not an expert at it, but a rough explanation of how it works. Of course, you can just use your regular Gmail account and send people emails. You can do that if you don't do that big volumes and stuff. But the thing is, if you're reaching out to hundreds or thousands of people or businesses, if you're just using a regular Gmail account or a regular email account and just sending a bunch of emails that way, the chances are pretty high that you will land in you'll be labeled as a spammer, or your email account will be labeled as a spammer account, something like that, and your emails will not reach the right inboxes. They will land in the spam folder or junk mail folder, and in some cases they won't even land in the inbox at not even in the spam folder. So that's the problem with only using a regular email address, and also it will be extremely time consuming to do it one by one manually that way. So what a lot of people are using is, if you want to do it professionally, or if you want to at least try to do it professionally, what I'm using, that's what a lot of people are also using. That's a tool like like instantly.com or .io, something like that. There are other tools as well. What is it called again? There are other tools like that. I'm sorry, I was trying to remember the name of those tools, but somehow it escapes me now. But yeah, the thing is, with a tool like Instantly, you can buy first of all, you buy multiple domain names, and then for each domain name, it is usually recommended that you can connect 3 email addresses, and then you're usually using something like Google Workspace, and then it costs around $10 to $15 per month for each Google Workspace email address. But the thing is, if you're using one of the many Google Workspace resellers out there, then you can get it for around $2.50 to around $3.50 per month per workspace, per Google Workspace email address. So the point is, instead of buying it direct from Google Workspace, the email address, instead of subscribing to it directly from Google, if you find one of the Google resellers who can probably subscribe to it for around $3 per month instead. At the moment of this recording, I'm subscribing to it for $2.75 per month for each Google Workspace email address. So yeah, you need a domain name like dogbreeding101.com, for example. You know, regular domain name. By the way, if you don't already have a bunch of domain names that you have bought to use for things in the future, if you want to buy domain names specifically to do cold email outreach, then you should probably go to godaddy.com and try to find try to find domain names that have already been used, that have a lot of backlinks and referring domains. I think that's the things to look for. Search, don't take my word for it, search that up. It was a super skilled email guy, a super skilled tech guy that recommended it for me, because the reputation of your domain also affects the performance of the email accounts that you connect to that domain, you know. So if the domain name have been in use for several years and it has a bunch of backlinks to it and also a bunch of referring domains, I think it was something like that. Anyway, if it has things like that, then it might help your performance a lot. That's just something to keep in mind. But yeah, I guess I'm getting too quickly into the techie stuff here. Sorry about that. I should have I guess I should have explained more inspirational and big picture stuff first, but here we go. So yeah, you buy domain names, usually around $10 to $15 per year. Subscribe to Google Workspace email accounts for around, if you use a reseller, around $3 per month. Can connect about that's what's recommended, about 3 mailboxes to each domain name. And what's usually recommended is that you can send after you have warmed it up. That's also an advantage to using a tool like Instantly, that over several weeks they have a warm-up process that are warming up the domains and the mailboxes. And once it is warmed up, you can start sending emails, and you can gradually increase how many emails you can send per day. Kind of complicated, I know, but if you do it that way, the performance can be pretty amazing. But yeah, once you have warmed it up, the usually recommended volume is that you can send around 30 emails per day from each mailbox, maybe up to 50 emails per day from each mailbox. So then you can kind of do the math to how many domains and mailboxes you want to buy and subscribe to in order to send out the volume that you want, you know. And also another big factor is the list. You can use web scrapers, you can buy lists, you can find them manually yourself. There's different ways to go about it. But yeah, my point is, if you have a good list, by the way, when it comes to the list, when you have a good list, you should also be verifying the list. Use some kind of email list verification tool that you verify the list. At least take away the full mailboxes, the wrong email addresses, the what's it called? The emails that are not landing in the inbox. Yeah, basically taking away the bad or the worst email addresses from your list. Because if you're sending a bunch of emails to addresses that are not accepting your emails, then you might be labeled as a spammer and your email deliverability will go down. But yeah, if you get if you get a good list and a good cold email setup, things starts to get exciting pretty fast if you do things right, you know. Then you can start your outreach. So if you have a good subject line and good email copy and a great offer that you're promoting that way, exciting stuff. But yeah, just imagine kind of results you could get if you were sending like 5,000 cold emails per day. You know, it's pretty exciting stuff. I guess this is the part that I should have been talking about first. But yeah, if you have a great offer, a great subject line, great email copy, great email text, and you send that out to the right prospects, the right list. Yeah, imagine the results you could get in like 1 to 3 months if you were sending out like 5,000 cold emails per day. And of course, the thing is that once you get your first clients and your income increases, then you can also buy more domains, subscribe to more mailboxes, and increase the volume of your cold emails as well. So yeah, when it comes to paid communities, for example, imagine if you are building a paid community for a specific type of business owners, for example. You could probably use cold email to reach out to a bunch of them. And the thing is with paid communities, when you're selling a subscription, a monthly subscription like that, usually it doesn't take that extreme high numbers in order for it to become a significant income, you know, especially if we are comparing it to the average incomes in the Matrix or in the 9 to 5 rat race, you know. Depending on your prices, like 30 to 300 members in a paid community, and you can, in many cases, make over $10,000 in profit per month. And of course, like I've already mentioned, when it comes to cold emailing, there's a lot of different things you can use it for. So, yeah, exciting stuff. Outreach. Now there's a bunch of YouTubers out there that is teaching you about cold emailing. For some reason, it was really hard to find a lot of success stories on YouTube about cold emailing. That's a bit strange, considering how old that concept of cold email outreach actually is. But that's the thing about the internet. There's a lot of things going on behind the scenes that a lot of us are not aware of at all. There are people making tens of millions of dollars in profit where cold emailing is one of their main sources of traffic, their main sources of contacting people. Yet, how often do we hear about those things? Another really fascinating thing is that when it comes to some cold email experts and some cold email success stories, when you look at their volumes, it is not really that super high volumes. One of them mentioned something like he had sent out, was it about 10 million cold emails, and he had made around, was it $15 million? Internet made $15 million. I guess that's the silly made version. So profit, who knows, probably a few $1 million in profit as well. But beware of online marketers talking about the money they made. It's revenue. It's usually revenue. Profit is the important one. But yeah, 10 million emails. If one of the most known cold email experts on YouTube had sent around 10 million cold emails in total, if that's the case, it's not really that super high volumes, you know? Pretty exciting to think about. So the kind of results you can get with, yeah, something like sending 5,000 cold emails per day. If you do things correctly and things go well, yeah, it can be life-changing for a lot of people. Alex Hormozi with Gym Launch, he was on the verge of going bankrupt at one point, and then he used cold emailing as one of the main ways to save his entire company. I think that was with the Gym Launch, yeah. But how much is that really talked about? Oftentimes we think it's the things we see people doing that are generating the most results. Like they have a massive podcast, YouTube channel, TikTok or Instagram page, things like that. But in many cases, there are a lot of people making money online without even having much of a social media presence at all. Now, I think having a personal brand can be super valuable these days. But like I said, there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes. And cold emailing, it's that's one of them. Anyway, you know, I guess I should mention some of the things that cold emailing can be used for. But there's so many options. So, but especially B2B, if you're selling to business owners, but also in some cases to B2C, business to consumer. And like I said, outreach as well to maybe people you want to interview, things like that. Isolation can be a dream killer. So, if isolation can be a dream killer, what's the opposite? What's the opposite of isolation? Massive outreach. For example, if you have a dream of building an online paid community or some other business, but let's take an online paid community as the example. If you want to build an online paid community and make $30,000 in profit per month, if that's your dream, what's a dream killer for that dream? I think isolation from the right customers, isolation from the right prospective members, people that can become a member, people that you want to become a member in your paid community. You can do a lot of things right. You can do hundreds of things just right. But unless you promote it, unless people actually know about your paid community and how they can become a member, you can do the right things for decades. Nothing will happen. Nothing, no profit will happen if people don't know about it. So, Charlie Munger, the billionaire, he used to he used to be famous for this saying, invert, always invert. So if we, it's basically thinking about what can you do to fail. So when it comes to a paid community, what can you do to fail? Well, don't promote it. Don't sell memberships. If you just do that one thing, don't let anyone become a member. Don't let anyone become a paying member. Then if you just do that, then you'll fail. Because no matter what you do, inside, when it comes to your paid community, if you don't sell members, then you won't be generating a profit either. If the paid memberships is how you're planning to profit, there are some people running free communities that are still profiting, but then they are promoting other things, maybe advertising, things like that, or selling things. But yeah, my point is, if isolation is a dream killer, what's the opposite of isolation? It's contacting people, connection, networking, outreach, promotions, you know. And if we invert it, what you need to fail miserably with a paid community, don't get members. Okay, so getting members is one of the most important things. Getting members, provide massive value to those members, and get them to stay a member, help them get results, things like that. How do you get those members? There's a lot of ways to do it, but in many cases, cold emailing can actually be used, And like I said, I'm not an expert at this. I'm just really excited about it, and I'm testing it out myself at the moment. I'm getting help from different people to do it. But yeah, I'll try to bring an update on the podcast later on how it has gone with my cold email outreach. Anyway, when it comes to cold emailing, I've been thinking about interviewing 30 experts or 30 success stories about cold emailing as well for Terrific 30, my online education and community platform. At the time of this recording, I've not done it yet, but I'm planning to do it in the future. So you might find some information there. Anyway, if you have not yet checked out communitycashcows.com, I highly advise you to do so. A paid community online maybe that's an option for you if you're looking to build an online business, a side hustle, escape the rat race, things like that. So yeah, if you want to learn from a bunch of the cold email success stories that I've interviewed, and also connect with a bunch of other people that are in the process of building their own paid community, check it out on communitycashcows.com. All right. Take care and God bless.